Populists, it looks like just as a tacky mackdaddy, son of Satan, quasi-Zionist, woman-groping, goof-loving Trudeau has now really ramped up the amount of money he's given to the province of Quebec, and I call it the great province of Quebec. 1.4, well over 1.4 billion has been given to Quebec above all the other provinces. Now, it's good that money is going to a Canadian province instead of other nations for a change. But the latest is 1.3 billion in federal funding for the Montreal Metro, and it's just funny. And I'm not criticizing it, but it's funny that I think the Matt Dad, the son of Satan, the great pimp of the Canadian nation, has probably conceded that Ontario is gone. It's gone. It's gone, and it's not coming back for a long time. Now, Quebec, on the other hand, he may still have a chance. You see, because there are many Quebecers out there who still don't get the fact that the Trudeau family and the Liberal Party in general is a great enemy to the people of Quebec. It is a great enemy to the Quebec nation and the nationalism of Quebec. And the only reason why so much money is given to Quebec by liberal governments is so that they can forget about their ideas of Quebec nationalism, so that they can forget about their idea of preserving their language and their nation and their identity. It's the liberals who refuse to give Quebec a distinct identity status. The conservative Brian Mulroney tried to do it. I think all provinces should have distinct identity society because all provinces are distinct. No province is the same. But they give that to them so that they can forget about that and go along with the liberals, the globalist sellout liberals, and completely voluntarily dilute their ideas of nationalism and culturalism and Quebec identity. It's been going on ever since Pierre Trudeau. Um, and now it's happening under Justin Tacky and mackdaddy Trudeau. Now, 1.3 billion has been given to federal funding of the Montreal Metro extension. Toronto called for Toronto subway expansions, and so far the government hasn't committed a penny towards that. Um, he's offered in the past 140 million to compensate Quebec for border crossings, and the thing is even a lot of the western provinces which have been shafted by the drop in oil, and that's a lot of that is their fault. They put all their eggs in the oil industry and now they're getting punished for it. I feel sympathy for them because they're our brothers and our sisters, and we're all in this together. We all have the son of Satan on our throne who is pimping us out, so we all have to stick together, and we have no time to criticize individual regions, though I do criticize the English Canadian from time to time because I feel he is responsible in many ways for the destruction of the Canadian culture. The English Canadian is willing to sell out for a quick penny. But it seems that now that the election is coming on, he has to quickly gather up all the money he has and give it to Quebec so that they can once again go for him because it's a big province. Quebec has decided who the prime minister is in many, many, many elections, and he needs Quebec because he knows, first of all, Quebec is heading back on the side of Quebec nationalism, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The Quebec people are a proud people, and no one is going to change that. No one is going to change that. Francois Legault, the greatest premier that we have in this country so far, is a Quebec nationalist, and make no mistake about it, he wants Quebec to leave this failing nation quicker than anything on the face of the planet, quicker than any jackrabbit you see out there in your garden. He wants to leave. He's playing it safe, though. He wants to do things methodically with thinking and superior logic. But Quebec is going on that side again, and the reason for that is precisely because of what we have seen the past few summers, ever since Justin the Tacky and mackdaddy, son of Satan, quasi-Zionist, woman-groping, uh, goof-loving Trudeau has done and has allowed to happen, and that is illegals crossing through into Canada from Quebec, illegals and migrants taking over stadiums and just taking over in Quebec. And the Quebec people are sick of it. They don't like it one bit. And this is a proud people, you have to understand. This is a proud people. This is a proud and nationalistic people. And they say to themselves, we have a prime minister who has been given billions of dollars. I mean, at least the other liberal prime ministers, at least they would give most of their of the money to us. He's been giving money to Indonesia, to Africa, to the Middle East, to all these places to help them with their problems, pimping us out. And yet, last summer or 2 summers ago, many of our old Quebec women, our old Quebec grandmothers, died in hospitals because there was no air conditioning. How could there be no air conditioning in a Canadian hospital? And not only that, natives are dying all over the place in reserves because of poisonous water. And on top of that, we have a border that is completely open. And any Sam and Jared, Nancy, Lucy, and whoever is coming in, we don't know who these people are. They've blocked up our entire stadiums, and they've said to themselves, look, the time for action is now. And you even see what they've done with, certain cultural laws. They want to ban Sharia law, and I say yay and amen to that. You don't see any of the English provinces doing that. Toronto, I don't see Doug Ford doing that. I don't see what's his name, the one everybody jumps up and down for in Alberta, Kenny doing that. I mean, they say Alberta's supposed to be this great conservative land. It's only conservative when it has to do with money. Only conservative when it has to do with money. I want to see them until they have the spine to write up a law which says you are not going to come uh, out in public with women wearing beekeeper outfits. It is insulting. It is disrespectful to our women in Canada. They don't like it. They don't want to see it. I don't care if you want to do it. They don't want to see it, and we don't know who's being forced to wear that or not. Until I see the Alberta government doing that, I'm not going to say that they're this great big conservative bastion. Now, I'm not saying Quebec is conservative, but Quebec is nationalist, both on the left and the right. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Left wing nationalism of Rodrigo Duterte in the Philippines and the late Gaddafi, or right wing nationalism of Francois Legault and some of the European people out there. Nationalism is national. Populism is populism. And they're both great as far as I'm concerned. We have our little differences when it comes to left and right, yeah. But the one goal that every leader needs to walk towards is populism and nationalism. And Quebec does a great job of that, except when they elect the Quebec Liberal Party. But you see the direction that Quebec is going in, and so does the mackdaddy. He sees it. He sees the fact that Francois Legault is banning Sharia law left, right, and center. He sees the fact that these Muslim women are not going to be wearing any burqa out there on the school buses and all this stuff where we don't know who they are. I mean, I see in Toronto, people, they're wearing burqas and they're driving cars. Now I say to myself, how can you drive a car and you can barely see properly? How can you do that? Quebec, that wouldn't happen. That would never happen in Quebec. And they're saying no. Number one, we don't know who you are. Some terrorist or something could be disguising himself. Number two, it's against Western values, liberal, democratic, Western values. They like to call us fascists, but we're the ones standing up for liberalism, Western liberal democracy. We're the ones standing up for it. And women don't want to see their fellow sisters in beekeeper outfits because some religion says that they're not allowed to show off their beauty. What kind of thing is this? What kind of century is this? And lastly, and this happens on many occasions, there are women all over the place who are forced to wear the burqa in Western countries. And let them try and complain. They'll get the boogers knocked out of them. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, there's investigations. It happens all the time. Women are forced to wear it. They're forced to wear it. They not have any choice. If they come home and it's not on, the father will beat them, and they can't complain. In England, it's even worse. They've got Sharia courts and everything like that. And Quebec says, hey, no, we're not going to allow this. We don't know who's being forced or who's not being forced, so we're just going to ban the whole thing. And I say, yeah, amen. And the mackdaddy sees the direction that Quebec is going. Quebec feels neglected. Quebec feels abandoned. Quebec feels betrayed. Betrayed. Now, I have a story to tell you. You know, look, remember, and it's almost the anniversary of Princess Diana's death. God bless her soul. I don't think she was killed by the royal family. I think she was killed by the military-industrial complex because she wanted to ban landmines in Africa. But you all remember, Prince Charles and Diana didn't get along in the end. And Prince Charles betrayed Diana. And she was miserable. She began, and felt abandoned and lonely. She went to bed nights crying because Prince Charles was with Camilla. And I don't blame Prince Charles because he was pretty much forced to marry Diana. He loved Camilla in the beginning. It's the Queen I blame, and the Duke of Edinburgh. They forced these two, and they weren't compatible. But because she was a virgin and all that stuff. But she went to bed lonely, crying. Prince William, as a boy, had to put napkins under the door in her cold, lonely bed. And what did Diana do? She started to act out. She started to make herself throw up. She would fall down the stairs. She'd go cheat on him with James Hewitt, who I think is Prince Harry's real father. I mean, she went off with Dodie. She acted out because she was lonely. She was depressed. She was hurt. And that's what Quebec is doing. Quebec feels betrayed. Quebec used to be loved by Canada. You know, the federal government used to come in the bed with Quebec. Baby, it's going to be all right. I'll give you, you know, I got my hoes on the side, Alberta and Ontario. But you my number one, baby. Don't worry about them, baby. I'm going to give you the next paycheck. But don't worry, baby. We'll rub your feet, baby, Quebec. I'm going to rub your feet, Quebec. I'm going to rub your feet every night when I come home. I'm going to rub your back. You'll take a shower to get out. I'm going to make love to you, baby. It's all right, baby. Canada doesn't do that anymore to Quebec. So Quebec feels abandoned. Quebec goes to bed crying in their lonely bed because Canada is out, not even with his hoes anymore. He's out with some foreign hoes, Indonesia and all these other. I mean, the hoes feel abandoned and Quebec feels abandoned. So now they're acting out, and Quebec is acting out with the hoes. The Quebec has linked up with the hoes, and they're acting out against Canada. So they're passing laws to ban the burqa. They are, you know, voting for people like François Legault. They're going back to Quebec nationalism. They're doing all sorts of things. So now Canada is coming back to make love to Quebec again. Make love to Quebec, rub the feet and everything, because he knows the election is coming up. So my message to Quebec is to divorce Canada. Divorce her. Divorce him. He's a sleazy hoe. He betrayed you. He cheated on you. He's done you wrong. Divorce him. And one of the ways you can divorce him is by voting against the Liberals. You got to do it. Don't take that money and let the mackdaddy do you like he did during his premiership. Don't let him do that to you again, Quebec. You're proud people. Don't let him do it to you. Divorce him. Vote against the Liberals. And if they come back, divorce them. Just divorce. So that's what I have to say about this thing. Do not let the Liberals trick you into voting for them. They're giving you money because they know that you are acting out because you feel betrayed and abandoned. But the thing is a cheater is always a cheater. If you re-elect the mackdaddy again, he's going to cheat on you again, Quebec. So don't elect him again. Stick to your guns. Be firm. Remember who you are. Don't vote for him again. And as for the rest of Canada, I say do the same thing. Vote for the person in your riding most likely to beat the Liberals. This is the Arana Nation.